and foremost, give all honors and praises to the Most High God who got us here.
Yes.
Thank Him for waking us up this morning.
Yes.
I am very proud to be representing the city of Mount Vernon. I'm not sure if the mayor meeting is so busy, but also I would like to give praises to you from the city council. How many have heard of Black Wall Street in the past? Raise your hand. Okay. This is a very dynamic play. And Floyd Cromwell, I helped him get started probably about 10 years ago in running plays right here in Mount Vernon for the mayor's task force. They've been doing a fantastic job, and it's a fantastic play you're going to see. Young people pay very much attention to this play. Black Wall Street, as you'll find out, in 1921 was probably the most prosperous black town in America. People had airplanes, black people had airplanes, banks, and everything. And at that time, the Ku Klux Klan was out, and they were jealous. They wanted to borrow money from these people, and the people lent the money. But they were so jealous that they bombed the town and everything, so paid very much attention. I consider Mount Vernon a Black Wall Street, okay? Because it's run by a black government and it's trying to do the best it can for its people that's having problems. But understand, if this didn't happen in 1921, probably be a lot more black millionaires now. But there's still a possibility for young people to become millionaires, scientists, teachers, and everything else, okay? The racism itself is gone. People are not as angry and as mean with each other. But there's still some mean people out there, all right? And if you do not understand your past, you will never understand your future. So look at plays like this. If you don't believe it, research, okay? Go to the computer. There's some things on the back of your program that shows you exactly, if you don't believe it, you can research it for yourself. What they say to us, if you want to hide something, especially from black people, put it in a book. Okay, so if you're not reading, if you're not researching, then you're going to lose out. One thing about Floyd Cromwell is, he thinks he's like Spike Lee. He got to be in every play he produces. But that's a good thing, because Spike Lee puts on some great plays. And there's some people in this play that I've known for years, and I'm very proud to be here with you to watch this play. Unfortunately, you'll probably see me leave, because there's a $200 ticket I paid for the Boys and Girls Club. So I'll be stepping. My wife said, go get as much out of that $200 as I possibly can. So I will be leaving, but I'll probably have the people from Connecticut, raise your hand. Well, thank you for coming and sharing this, okay? Again, without further ado, I call it Black Wall Street. Enjoy. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Susie Collier, and I've traveled a long way through time to chat with you folks. Because you see, when I'm looking at, most of you weren't born in 1919 or 1921. I lived in North Tulsa, Oklahoma, a small little town called Greenville. Well, of course, at that time, Negroes weren't really allowed to live anywhere else, but we didn't care. We had everything we needed right there, long before the Civil Rights Movement come along. And I worked for Samuel Baldwin, the richest man in town. He owned and operated the OK Oil Company and a lot of other companies in town. That man had the richest oil strike that day I ever saw. Our money just kept growing and growing and growing. And since they wouldn't let us invest in the regular stock market, we started our own. And it was called Black Wall Street.
You know how much I've been looking forward to this.
Man, I couldn't sleep ever since you called me about this book.
Did you have any trouble getting in?
No, my son pulled up Metropolis, and from there, I followed the yellow brick road.
I see you still have a lusty sense of humor. I thought Marie was one.
You know how women are. She's out shopping. I just hope we get to finish this book before my credit cards run out. Listen, I brought a few things I thought we could use. You mind if I sit there?
Hey, once you get there, be so formal. We practically grew up in each other's houses. Your mother making me a Christian, my mother making you a Jew, you know? my kids come home from school, and I can't believe nobody bothered to put this story together. With so much going on in the world today, and Wall Street playing a game of tennis, I wonder why our parents, Wall Street, was never heard of.
Well, who would have thought that some half-breed African-American Indian trading post would be sitting on the richest oil strike that the state of Oklahoma's ever seen?
They only listen to Jasper.
Ah, that poor man seemed more drunk than he did sober. But I guess even with all that drinking, he still knew more about North Tulsa than anybody else. I guess some things just harden people.
Or maybe some things are just too hard for people to take. If the town had listened, maybe the riots wouldn't have come. I did the best I could for memories. You know, stories. I want my grandfather passed down on my father. We should take a look at this.
Wow. Would you look in here? Stan Wilder, Martha Strong, Grandma was in love. Deacon Allen, you got just about everybody down here. You even got gun-talking Millie down here. Now, from the way I heard it, that was some woman.
So, how do you think we should do this?
I don't know. The beginning of the 1900s, white folks wrote off that town. But black folks, they were drawing up plans that made it the wealthiest community in the state of Oklahoma.
Aren't you going to mention your grandfather's oil company? If it hadn't been for him, there would have been a black Metropolis.
Well, if I'm fit to talk about my grandfather, I can't go on without talking about yours. I mean, after all, he was his most trusted business partner.
Well, I don't know how they did it. Sometimes I can't get one person in my office to stay late. You know, let alone start a whole town. It's absolutely.
Well, it was the way they put them 36 blocks together. Remember when our fathers used to talk about their fathers and how they would go on and on about Bubba Wilson and Dennis Tyler and how Dennis Tyler kept that newspaper running all the way through to June 21st? Now, that was a real family back then. Not like now. Terrorists and God knows what.
36 blocks. I mean, they couldn't move any place else. But I guess they didn't need to because everything you could think of was right there.
Well, our family sure made the plan, didn't it? All that money growing and growing. Folks in West Tulsa wouldn't hire y'all or us. They wouldn't have given it a second thought to killing our black family. They had to be quick, and they had to have a plan.
And having all that money to her. What was that kid's name who kept running around delivering messages?
You mean the one they said that kept running in and out of Millie's place, driving her crazy? You know, for a young man, I know he sure seen more than I've ever seen.
Yeah, but those messages were important.
Yes, they were. Millie, rough, gun-slinging, juke joint on